And welcome to Malaysia as we head into the all-important qualifying session. The drivers are raring to go and we're just waiting for the lights to go green to signify the start of the qualifying hour. Last year we saw a wonderful race here in Malaysia and I'm expecting another fascinating weekend to come here in Kuala Lumpur.
Well, there are at least 3 or 4 other drivers that could be strong contenders for a front row start tomorrow. So it's difficult to predict who will come out on top, but it's certainly going to be an exciting qualifying session today.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my Kimi Raikkonen Career mode, where I am doing the full 2015 season. You joined me in my hatred of this circuit at Malaysia in Q1, and this time I don't make the same mistake as I did in qualifying for Australia, and I have come out on the options for my first run, as last time I went out in Q1. If you haven't seen the last episode, recommend you go watch that first. It was met with good responses considering the size of my channel, so I'm happy for that, and that's why I'm going to be continuing it very rapidly. Anyway, I easily made it through the first 2 qualifying sessions, and my Q3 time puts me 3rd on the grid. I was only a little bit, such a small amount off of Bottas, who was in 2nd. But, surprisingly, Sebastian Vettel and Nico Rosberg, who did their time on the wets, are quite far back, so that could be good for me. So here we are, ready to start the Malaysian Grand Prix. I'm starting on the option tyre because I want to try and jump Bottas at the start, but I don't get a very good getaway off the line as usual. Even Maldonado behind me having a look at getting past. Or was that Grosjean? I don't know, but I go for a very bold move down the inside of Bottas, almost making contact with him. That probably wasn't allowed in some rulebook somewhere, but nonetheless that puts me up into 2nd place behind Hamilton, and Rosberg has made up a lot of positions from his poor qualifying to get himself into 3rd place. Coming round the 2nd to last turn, I run very wide onto the curb and grass. Nico Rosberg comes down the inside of me on exit, but I'm not going to give up 2nd position that easily as I get in the slipstream, put it in Rich Mix 3, and go down the inside into the final hairpin, make him go wide, although then I've got a Red Bull on the inside of me, Ricciardo having a look down the inside, but it doesn't happen, and Hamilton pulling out a very big lead in front now. On lap 2 I make another mistake and go all 4 wheels onto the gravel. That allows Nico Rosberg past, and he will probably storm off in his Mercedes now. Catching him is probably unlikely. I knew I wouldn't keep him behind for long, but I am really struggling with the car setup. I was happy with it in qualifying and I was able to get a good time on the board, but I don't have any traction out of bends. I'm just so slow and understeering into them as well as Bottas comes around the outside of me now. Can I hold him there? I take a very tight exit and get more speed than him and maintain 3rd position. At the end of lap 3, Felipe Massa comes down the inside of me into the final hairpin. I try and hold it round the outside, but he gets a much quicker exit and DRS on the straight. I don't have DRS, whereas Valtteri Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo, there's a massive DRS train behind me. Valtteri Bottas now coming down the inside. I try and stick it around the outside, going very wide. Yeah, I've lost the position there. Bottas just came around the outside of me. Well, we came down the... Oh, Ricciardo's just came from absolutely nowhere. I'm going to try and slot in the slipstream. Move back to the inside for the right-hander. And I hold him on the outside, maintaining 5th position. But can I get back at the Williams? No is the answer to that question, as coming round the final hairpin on lap 4, Sebastian Vettel comes down the inside of me, so I'm now down in 6th position, but I do have DRS and I think I'm in Rich Mix as we come down towards turn 1. I go for what could be described as a disastrous decision, and that didn't work in the slightest, and Vettel is now ahead of me as we come round turn 2. I have horrific traction out of that bend specifically. I lose so much time there. I'm surprised more people aren't passing me into this right-hander just here. At the end of lap 6, I am fed up of being repeatedly overtaken, so I decide to come into the pits for a fresh set of option tyres. I've only done 5 laps on these tyres, or I did do 1 in Q2 as well, so that's 6 laps on these tyres, and they're dead already. I'm dropping back so quickly. I I was trying to defend quite harshly. I'm not sure if that wore out my tyres, but the options just did not last long at all. But I'm going to have a go with another set, see if they were just worn out from qualifying. But I did consider putting the primes on because the primes might be a better option. I don't know at this point. As we start lap 7, other people are coming out of the pits, including my teammate Vettel, who I go side by side with, and there's contact. I hit into the side pod of him as I turn in. I'm probably at fault for that one because I was quite desperate to get past him. If I could have pulled off an undercut, then that would have been very good. But I'm not going to give up on him that quickly. I'm going to try my best to get past, see if I can hold the track position, and then look after my tyres instead of just letting them wear out like I did in the first stint. The manner of Roberto Merri could come into play here. He's going very slowly through here. I get on the power nice and early, drive past Vettel and Merri as we come into this quick double apex right-hander. At the end of lap 7, Sebastian Vettel is in the slipstream of me. We come into the final hairpin. I squeeze him in the braking zone. He hits me up the rear. Then I make contact with his side pod as he tries to run to the edge of the circuit. Wheel to wheel. He's got DRS. How the stewards calculated that, I don't know. But in rich mix and with the slipstream, I'm going to try the inside anyway. Coming into turn 1, I squeeze him and there's contact again. And again. I'm round. And that is 4 collisions with my teammate Sebastian Vettel. The Ferrari people will just be screaming in the garage right now. I've lost a place to Grosjean and Perez, I think, but Hulkenberg's right behind me as well. That is not good. Can't believe that happened, really. I'm not even sure who's at fault. I did try and run him wide, but he didn't really leave me much space on the inside either. After the collisions with Sebastian, I've got a lot of ground to make up as I go for a daring move down the inside of Grosjean. Very close to hitting his side pod there, but just giving him a little squeeze and then getting the DRS despite being ahead on the straight. At the end of lap 10, I bring it into the pits for a set of the prime tyres, as the options have yet again only lasted 5 laps before seeing a dramatic drop in lap time. Hopefully the primes can hold up a bit better. Maybe if I can use one set to take me to about lap 20 and then the other to take me to the end, something like that would be dandy. But I might have to do another 2 stops, so I don't know at this point. Tyre wear seems horrific at this point. As we start lap 12, I overtake Carlos Sainz down the outside into turn 1, and I am very happy with my tyre choice as I feel like I have more grip on the prime than I did on the option, plus they'll last longer, so I'm kind of regretting coming in for options on my first stop when I could have come in for primes. On lap 13, I am right behind Jenson Button, and despite him being on the grippier tyre, I am able to go round the outside through that very quick S-shaped section. That was a pretty good manoeuvre, especially considering the tyre I'm on. As my tyres are wearing, I actually get overtaken by Romain Grosjean into the last corner. I run very, very wide there, don't quite know what was going on, but I do get the DRS. Verstappen also behind me with the DRS. I think they're on option tyres, although I'm not entirely sure. I'm gaining on Grosjean very rapidly. Bit too far back to make a move into turn 1. Running a little bit wide. Can I try get back at him round here? No. He has just got the move done. There's no question about that. On the next lap, I'm right behind Grosjean as we come into turn 1, but Verstappen goes down the inside of me. That forces me wide and ruins any chance of a move. And actually, I was lining up Grosjean for an overtake, but then I get overtaken by Verstappen. That is not what I wanted, and I'm going to have to get back at them pretty quickly. As we start lap 20, I come into the pits for what is my final pit stop. I'm going to put another set of the prime tyre on and go to the end on these. Hopefully I can perhaps undercut Grosjean and Verstappen that overtook me, but it would be a bit of a task because they did drive off shortly after overtaking me. Lap 21, and I am right behind Grosjean as he just came out of the pits. I've got a good run on him through this fast section. His tyres aren't really up to temperature yet. A little bit of contact with the back of him as I sweep past, getting on the power much earlier than he did. On the main straight, gaining on Verstappen very rapidly, coming into turn 1. I brake a bit earlier than he does, but I keep my car there in the middle of the track, makes him go a little bit wide. and I'm able to go down the inside. That's me back into a points finishing position. I've caught up to the back of Hulkenberg and I'm in the slipstream. Go for a move down the inside, make him stay wide, able to get the move done and go right back to the edge of the circuit. That's me up into 9th position. But at the end of the lap, Hulkenberg's able to come back past me for what is now 8th position, as someone either retired or pit or something like that. I don't really know. But Hulkenberg is ahead, and I need to get back at him. After closely following Hulkenberg for a couple of laps, I get a good run on him out of this fast S section, wheel to wheel as we approach the double right-hander. I stick it down the inside, unusual place to overtake. He runs wide and loses a place to Verstappen, but I won't complain as that is P8 for me with only 2 laps to go. Shortly before starting the final lap, Verstappen comes past me as we approach the final bend. I then suddenly go back for the outside run very wide and get completely mugged by Verstappen. Hulkenberg even having a go on exit. He's got DRS, so has Verstappen. I haven't, but I'm still gaining on Verstappen. I can't really go to the outside because Hulkenberg's there. This is complete madness into turn 1. Almost hitting Verstappen in the braking zone, but going down the inside nonetheless. And then squeezing him around the apex of turn 2. Didn't want him coming back at me on the exit. And that is me leading this group on the final lap. Can I stay ahead of Verstappen and Hulkenberg? I hope so. Thankfully, the AI didn't try any last lap heroics, and I was able to come across the line in a shocking 8th position. I had some good battles with the likes of Hulkenberg and Verstappen, but that's battling with the wrong people. I should have been up there with Bottas and Vettel. Kimi, understandably, looks unhappy with this result, so am I. 8th isn't good enough, especially after losing out to Vettel for 2nd position in the first race. And now, well, hitting him 4 times in the 2nd race. I think a rivalry is starting to appear between me and Vettel already. So, very different to real life already, this career mode. Yeah, join us next time, where we will be in China. I'm going to try and get a better car set up for that race. It's not my strongest track, so, well, I'll try my best. Hopefully I can get a better result than here. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I hope to see you next time for the Chinese Grand Prix. Goodbye.